Good morning, afternoon, happy Sunday to you. Welcome to the Heart of Christ Ministry. I'm your host, Reverend Shaun Robert Grant, and I am supremely happy and excited to have you here with me. It is going to be a special day because I plan to allow the abundant flow of wisdom to come through me and into your hearts and minds and to inspire you to be the very best that you can be. Okay. And so, first line of business, sowing a seed, guys. Thank you so much. If you find that this content is benefiting you and has continued to benefit you, even if you've listened to something I said 10 years ago and it inspires you and you want to sow a seed, please, by all means, sow a seed into this ministry. Thank you for your kindness and generosity. In advance, this will be popping in and up on the marquee as we go along today. But if you, once again, find it in your heart, please do so by all means. And just know that that seed that you're sowing is going to grow and expand, not just in this ministry, but in your life. And you will continue to see it expand. But it has to be given from a place of love, and it has to be given from a place of generosity. Okay. So thank you in advance for that. Venmo, Heart of Christ Ministry, PayPal, ShaunG04@gmail.com. We can do Apple Pay, a couple other things, whatever it is. By all means, that matters and that counts. So thank you in advance for your seed. And before we move on, I just want to lift you up in prayer, and I want to lift this ministry up in prayer. I want to lift myself up in prayer, me and the ministry being one and the same, which is amazing. And so all I ask is that our hearts are open, our minds are clear. We are completely receptive to the divine wisdom that will flow through, that I can be as great a vessel as I can be for the divine that wants to speak through me to you in love, allowing you to receive the very best of the best. And so it is. Amen to that. All right. And so let's rock and roll, ladies and gents. So before I get going, all I want to say, and I just want to make sure I put this out here because then I can just put this behind me. Heart of Christ Ministry is not your traditional church ministry. It's not based on traditional fundamentalist religion, Christianity, any of that stuff that, has been around for a long time, but doesn't necessarily seem to get people to where they need to be and where they want to go. And I say that because I've encountered a lot of different folks, coming at me with religious tradition and beliefs, when in actuality, this is just not it. If you want to sum this up, this is me knowing the heart of Christ and expressing what the heart of Christ would want, expressing love to all individuals, not just believers, right? Expressing truth and empowerment and encouragement to all people, not just some. When you start to exclude people based on their beliefs, you're living man's doctrine. You're not doing God's work. Right. And I just believe that. And I want to say that right now because it just has to be said. This is not your traditional fundamentalist theology. It's just not. It's based on something so much deeper. And it's not me just reciting history in the sense that I'm just feeding it to you so you can receive it and whatever. No, this goes deeper. This comes from my spirit. This comes from the wisdom that God has placed within me to give to you. Now, you have the option, because here we're all about love. You have the option to accept it or turn me off and never watch again. Whatever you choose, I respect your decision. Plain and simple. All right, cool. So we got that out the way. And today we are going to talk about money and your subconscious mind, a marriage made for fulfillment. Okay. So it's interesting how I just stated this is not a traditional fundamentalist type religion. And right then and there, I'm getting into a topic that for the longest time was completely rejected by religious theologians, right? The idea that money, but let me tell you something real quick. Let me tell you something, what I know from the heart and from prayer and meditation. Money is a great thing. Money is something that will help you to realize who you truly are by giving you a resource to access and acclimate yourself to things that you couldn't do if you didn't have the money. So it's a beautiful thing. And it's one of those things that I have become so passionate about that I feel like is a part of my calling, in addition to the heart of Christ, to help people to prosper, not just in the sense of physical money, right? That's great. But when I say money, it goes so much deeper than just dollars and cents and pesos and pounds and euros and yen and stuff like that. It goes so much deeper than that. Right. And it's always about understanding, how can I get your mind and your heart and your spirit to link up to the prosperity that's already available to you. And that is what has inspired this message, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to show you the marriage between your subconscious mind and money. Right. And so we talked a bit about the subconscious mind yesterday. And what's neat is that the subconscious mind is your pure, unfiltered, unconditional, divine power and love that will respond to whatever it is that you give it, right? More importantly, whatever you impress it with feeling, whatever you impress it with repetition, whatever you impress it with desire, it's going to be, right? It's going to do exactly that. And that is a given. There is absolutely nothing that will stand in the way of that happening. Okay. So, in knowing that and understanding that truth, what are you feeding your subconscious mind? Even from an unconscious space, what are you feeding to it? Right. So let's show you how to make that marriage between money and your subconscious mind work and get you prospering even before you see it rolls into the bank. Okay. Or prospering even more, because to him that hath, more shall be given. Trust and believe that. I can quote the Bible, right? All right. So number one, getting into this, it's all about planting a seed within your subconscious mind. And you got to be very specific. Okay. So I wrote an article on Medium and I also put it on Facebook. So likely you're listening to this on Facebook. If you go to my profile, you'll see that note. And I gave an example of how to plant a seed within your subconscious mind. It's written in big bold letters inside this note. And the reason why that is so important is because when you have pure, unfiltered power that takes everything literally, okay? The subconscious mind takes everything literally, right? So when you say stuff like, I am rich, you know what it will do? Technically, rich is just overflowing. So it can bring a penny or a dime or a quarter into your life and says, bam, you're rich, right? and I know this because I had to learn it by trial and error. Like, I am so abundant. I am so wealthy, right? And wealth, abundance, riches, prosperity is just overflow. But see, if you don't give it an idea of what the overflow is, guess what? It'll bring you like $1 more or like $5 on your paycheck or something like that, because it has to work through specificity, right? You have to give it a specific order, right? And so when I was doing that, writing that article yesterday, I made it a point to be as definite as I possibly could, right? And so that meant, I am manifesting. I have $100,000 per month by September 1st, 2020, in the most easy, effortless, comfortable way possible, coming through any channel available that is the very best channel. You see how that gets really down to specifics, because then it leaves no room for error. And I always finish with, under grace, in a perfect way. And the reason why you say that is because under grace in a perfect way means in the highest good of you and in the highest good of all concerned, right? It means in the highest good of you and in the highest good of all concerned. So in knowing that, you know that nothing is going to blow itself up in order for you to get what you want. But if you leave out those specifics, right, it can be catastrophic. And I tell you that because I want you to know in advance before you start going plant a seed, and then you're not knowing what you're going to get, right? Because that's how it works. This mind is just basically a computer waiting for a software download or upload to run this program. And you choose to give it a program, right? So if you're going to plant the idea of being rich, make sure you say, I am rich with hundreds of thousands of dollars to spare, right? So that means at the least hundreds of thousands of dollars to spare. You're going to get $101,000, right, to spare. So that is so important. And you can email me if you want to write out something, or just go check out that article if need be. But if you want to write out a seed to plant into your subconscious mind, you want to get specific with it and ensure that it is completely on point. I will do everything in my power to help you. Just send me an email at ShaunG04@gmail.com, and I will happily help you with that to get you going in the right direction. Okay, so plant the seed within your subconscious mind and be specific. So we're moving on to number 2. All right. And you guys have had plants before, right? Water the seed within the subconscious mind, but in a life affirming way, right? How do we water the seed in a life affirming way? So if you have plants and you water your plants, when you water your plants, you should talk to them. You should tell them how much they're loved, how happy you are that they're here, giving off oxygen, giving off beauty, giving off so much wonderful essence to this environment. And then you water them. And guess what? You will have the most epic, beautiful plants ever. Why? Because you're watering the seed in a literal way as well as a figurative way. And by doing so, right? By doing so, it prospers with the least amount of effort. Why? Because you keep feeding the seed, you keep watering the seed. Okay, so but when we take that in a figurative sense, okay, let's say you've put that out there that you want $10,000 extra or $10,000. Not that you want, that you have. You always got to say you have, because the subconscious moves in a present tense. If you say I want or anything like that, it's going to keep you wanting, right? That's how literal it is. So you got to say I have, or I am manifesting right now, no matter, even if it doesn't show up right now, say right now, it's always present. That way you keep away from just continuing to reach and never actually actualizing your goal. Okay. But watering comes down, and notice I said at the end of it, in a life affirming way, it comes down to really encouraging the seed that you've given, just like we do with those plants. Right. And so you basically say, thank you that I am so rich with $10,000 in my possession. Thank you that money is coming to me from all channels. I'm so thrilled and excited that this money shows up, and I'm doing all these wonderful things. I'm becoming more resourceful. I have an exponential line of resources and such and such. You water the seed, and you do it in a way that raises you up and raises the seed up. Right? Because the reason you want to do it this way, and you want to start with gratitude, is because it takes you away from feeling like, oh my God, why is this taking so long? Oh my God, why is this being this way? Oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, why is this not working? And then you just go right into lack, and then you can never really get anything from that perspective. Right? But if we just water the seed, If you say thank you, God, in me, that $100,000 is here right now in my consciousness, manifested as something that I can use to enhance my life and enhance the lives of others. I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative that it's present. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That waters the seed. You do that maybe a couple times a day until it shows up. But after you do that, you continue to let the seed grow, right? Because you don't water your plants every day. You don't water your plants every minute. Chances are, if you did that, if you watered your plants every day, they would die. Same thing with the seed that you plant in your subconscious mind, right? The subconscious mind cannot work if it's pressed and it doesn't allow, or it can't allow the process to take its course in a way that it's supposed to take its course that's in your highest good. You got to let it do its work. So after you water the seed, bam, let it go. Say thank you. I know that you're in good hands, and I'm excited to see you, when you show up. I'm excited to see you at the divine, perfect timing that you manifest for me. And you leave it at that, right? Because here's the thing. If you leave it there, then all of a sudden it's just sending good vibes. You ever have like a relative, or a friend or somebody who's sick, and what's the first thing you do? Well, I hope you feel better, right? Imagine if you continually, right, said, I hope you feel better. And the thing is, you don't have to say, I hope you feel better 100,000 times, right? Because I hope you feel better one time, filled with the emotion that comes from it, is enough. And all of a sudden, good energy comes to those people. Now, the only way if it works is if they're willing to accept it, right? But that's a whole nother that's a whole nother message in itself. So we'll get back to that point in a bit. But ultimately, you want to ensure that you are life affirming everything, even the worst of stuff, right? That can potentially be the worst of stuff. Affirm life to it, because the subconscious mind is taking notes. It's like a secretary. It's taking notes. Okay. He's very optimistic. Okay. She's always filled gratitude. Okay. We got to bring her more gratitude. We got to bring him more optimism, more things to be optimistic about. And it plants it, right? And then it shows up as your consciousness, right? So water the seed with genuine feeling, and do it in a life affirming capacity, right? And life affirming to me is basically just infusing gratitude with it, with the impression that, or the expectation that it's happening right now, because time is an illusion. Everything only happens now, right? Now. And there you have it. Easy as pie, right? Apple pie, sweet potato pie. I love it all. Number 3, have an unwavering faith that the subconscious mind holds all abundance in the universe, right? And so because this is talking about a marriage between money and your subconscious mind, I want to give you an example. And I want to show you why you can have so much faith within the subconscious mind. Okay. So here's the example. You have just received a trust fund in the amount, let's just say an unlimited amount of money. And if you really need an amount, $100 million, right? You just received a trust fund in that amount, right? It's already yours. There's nothing you have to do other than sign the papers to get it. But you've already received this trust, and this money is yours, right? Now, say, for instance, you have this money, but yet you decide, oh, I'm not going to sign the papers for whatever reason. I'm just gonna, I don't know, maybe let it sit, maybe just not use it. And all of a sudden that money just stays there, never to be used, because you didn't take, or you something disrupted your faith in believing that that money was actually there. Okay, so stay with me. The subconscious mind is a lot like that. The subconscious mind is the divine trust fund that has been set up, that some people cash in on it and continue to cash in on it. And some people just let that trust sit there their entire lives. And I know I'm smiling, but it's a goddamn tragedy. It is. And I say that with every fiber of my being, to let something that powerful, that important, that resourceful, right? Because this analogy, it goes even further, because the subconscious mind just doesn't sit there. It has animating creativity and power to bring you not just money, but anything that's going to serve you in living your highest good. Right? But yet and still, I like to call it a divine bounty, a divine trust. And all you have to do is unlock it. Just sign for it. Right? God and me, I'm signing for this divine trust to be released. Okay. What do you need? Right? But people don't do it. As a matter of fact, they stick it on autopilot. And then all of a sudden bad stuff comes up and they're wondering why this is the case. It's the case because you never took the time to give it the orders that you wanted. So guess what? It took the orders from around you, what everybody else had said. So everybody else is using your trust fund. Imagine that. $100 million and everybody else is making withdrawals from your trust fund. This is what it means to have faith in your subconscious mind, is to know that that divine bounty, that divine trust is there for you. It's there for your accessibility. It's there for you to find yourself in a place where you can accumulate, can access, can have whatever you truly desire, when you have the faith to know that it's already present in there, in your subconscious mind, in a formless, divine substance, energetic type state, right? Ultimately, we talked about in the beginning, money is just energy. Like real money is just energy. It's just consciousness. Right? It's the way you think. It's the way you feel. Reverend Ike used to call it the getting power of the mind. The getting power of the mind, which means what? It's all mental, right? Thought, feeling, emotion, action. That's all it is, right? And if you can consciously believe that and have faith in it, guess what? It accumulates. It accumulates into your life. And at the time when you need it the most, when you want it the most, it shows up, right? At the perfect divine timing, when we have an unwavering faith within the subconscious mind, and then its ability to express that abundance, right? Because here's what we always have to ask ourselves. And this is the hardest question sometimes. If things are not working in my life, what am I doing? Right? Because you can't really do anything. You can't really do anything of great importance in life until you take responsibility. Until you take responsibility, you cannot do anything great in life. That's just how it is. So oftentimes when I know that I hold this power, I hold the key, and things aren't working out the way that I need them to work out, or I feel like they should be working out, first and foremost, I remain patient. Okay. If I feel like I've been patient a little bit longer, I tap into my wisdom. I see what my wisdom is telling me. And then I say, am I the issue? Am I the problem? Right? That takes courage. because a lot of times it directs the reasoning right at you. You have to be almost critical in a sense, but in a loving way. Am I the reason this isn't working? If so, what is standing in my way? And all this comes down to have the faith to know that this power, that trust, has every single thing that you need to right this ship, right? Every single thing that you need to right this ship, right? So I want to tell you something, and I want you to take this not in a personal way, but in a way that helps you to change and transform your life as it relates to your finances, right? And so the beauty of what I'm about to tell you is really quite amazing, right? But it's what you do with it, right? God tells me every day, I give you the wisdom and knowledge freely, but it's what you do with it that matters. It makes no sense if the trust is just sitting there. So here's what I'm going to do for you. When you look at the whole concept of any type of debt, right? When you look at the whole concept of any type of debt, here's the reality of debt. The reality of debt is your subconscious mind has identified that as your truth through your conscious recognition of it, right? And sometimes this is just running autopilot and you don't even know, right? So that's why we kind of got to bring that attention back to where that abundant space where it needs to be, because if it's abundant, why am I in debt? You know, you're asking yourself. But you know what it's telling you? Take your attention off the debt, place it on the idea that I hold all the abundance in the universe, right? Take your mind and your attention off the debt, place it on the truth. Have faith in the truth that I am all the abundance and I hold all the abundance in the universe, says the subconscious mind. And guess what? You begin to see your debt either rapidly diminish when you've held that consciousness for long enough, or you see it gradually diminish, but diminish at a rate where it couldn't have before if you were constantly fixated on your debt. And I use the term debt a lot because the only reason why debt is present is because we focus on debt. We focus on debt as opposed to abundance, right? We focus on, instead of the money that we have, whether it's $30, $300, $300 million, we focus on the $18,000 in debt more than we focus on the money that we have. And so guess what? Guess where the energy goes? The energy goes to debt because you're focusing more on the debt as opposed to the abundance. Just switch it up. Have faith in the subconscious mind, in its abundance, that you're going to place your attention on that no matter what it looks like. The only time you ever acknowledge it is when you have to pay something towards it. Other than that, take your mind off of it, right? And that's going to free you up from all debts. Don't even speak the word. We talked about that the other day. Don't even speak the word in your life, because there is nothing debted about you, right? You are forever abundance. You are forever expansion, divine expansion, exponential resources. That is who you are, without question. Without question. Number 4. The subconscious mind wants to give you as much prosperity, success, and money that your consciousness can allow. Okay? That your consciousness can allow. I want you to get this. That your consciousness can allow. That your consciousness can allow. Right? So I was having a discussion with my wife this morning, and it was on consciousness. Right? And so what is consciousness? Because we hear this big, beautiful, long word this long metaphysical, spiritual word all the time. Yet a lot of people don't even know what it means. And so it means basically your ability to think, to feel, and to act from that thinking and that feeling, right? So yesterday, I believe it was, we talked about wealth consciousness, prosperity consciousness, poverty consciousness, abundant consciousness, lack consciousness. We all possess one of these forms of consciousness, and it all gets back to how we think and feel, right? So I always ask myself, because I know that my consciousness is my true wealth. If you saw my video yesterday, my consciousness is my true wealth. I always ask myself, what level on a scale from 0 to 100 is my wealth consciousness at, right? And I make sure that it never goes below a 95%. Why? Because if it goes below that, then I can start to see trouble unfolding, right? Now, that's relatively high, and I have done a crap load of work on myself to get to that point. But this is a good question to ask. And if it's not where you want it to be, ask, what is holding me back? Supreme infinite intelligence in my subconscious mind, or what can I do to rise higher? I feel like when you say what is holding me back works better, because a lot of times when you release stuff, you skyrocket up, right? And so it's just knowing that, it's being wise enough, or not wise enough, but just at a point where you're ready to receive that wisdom, right? You got to be open when it comes to wisdom to receive it and to trust it and to have faith in it, right? So in understanding that, your consciousness is going to reflect, your consciousness reflects your subconscious mind, right? So how you think, how you feel, how you act is a direct reflection to the subconscious mind, to what you've programmed it with. All right. So if it's programmed to experience abundance, to experience success, to experience prosperity, to experience unlimited money, that's going to be your outpicturing. So the question is now, or the statement is now, look at your outside life. Do you see abundance? Do you see unlimited surplus money? Do you see success? Right? And if it's not there in a capacity that you think it should be, this is where we have to be accountable and responsible. What subconscious mind is holding me back from realizing that? What is holding me back, right? Matter of fact, never ask or choose to ask what is holding you back. Because when you discover the blockages of the things that are holding you back, those things usually have more power to thrust you forward than what can I do to move forward? Because sometimes you move forward and you still got the block. Right? But if you say, what block is holding me back? The moment you recognize it, you can release it, and then it takes you higher. Right? So it's always a question of what type of consciousness is resonating within our subconscious mind. And if it's not something that is conducive to success, money, and prosperity, plant a different seed. Right? Plant a different seed. I planted a seed in your head today that if you guys didn't get it, I'm going to say it again. Choose not to focus on the debt, no matter what your situation looks like. Right? You know why? Here's the number one reason why the majority of people struggle is because they're unable to see plenty in every situation. Instead, they choose to see lack. And so I can promise you, I would bet you right now a bunch of money, if you trained your mind to always see plenty and not see lack, your life wouldn't even look like it does today in a matter of 6 months. If you really implemented that, if you could say that I'm choosing to see plenty, I'm choosing to see true abundance in everything, and you focused on that, right? It would transform dramatically the way that you live. And so what does that look like? Because it extends further than money, right? It sounds a lot like this. And we talked about it yesterday or 2 days ago. It looks a lot like this. I look outside and I see storm clouds. Man, it's so amazing. You get two choices. First choice, oh my God, is it going to rain again? Like, it rains every day here. Oh my God, why does it have to rain? Like, can't the sun just come out? Why? Why is that? That's the first choice. The second choice, the choice in plenty, it's so beautiful when it rains. It makes the trees and the plants become so green and lush, and it just makes for an amazing environment. And you can just smell the oxygen and the freshness of the rain in the air when you walk outside. I just love it. I'm so grateful for this. That's the second option. Until you begin to do that with everything, right? You get a bill. Abraham, Esther Hicks, for years, I think since the 80s has been saying, you get a bill, don't curse it. Don't curse the bill, right? You get the bill. Think about what the bill is giving you first. And the moment you find out it's something helping you, which it always is, thank you for this bill. But more importantly, thank you that I'm able to pay this bill with the abundance that I possess in my account. Thank you so much. Bang. Right? Prosperity consciousness, abundant consciousness, money consciousness, wealth consciousness. Right? You're thinking and feeling in a way that you're giving to a service that is being offered to you, as opposed to, you ain't taking my money, suckers. Right? But that's the reaction, I guarantee you, of a huge percentage of people. And that's why they struggle. That's why they struggle, because they're more inclined to focus on what's lacking as opposed to what is really present. And I'm telling you, this is something you got to train yourself at, because a lot of us have been conditioned to believe, to play that game. You know the name of that game? What's not there? Da-da, 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 da-da. I think that's The Price is Right. But are you going to play that game? What's not there? Right? Or you can switch it to, where's my abundance? It's a choice. It's a choice, guys. Say, where's my abundance? And you just follow the abundance. And I promise you, as always, like that secretary, subconscious mind's taking notes, writing it down. Okay, we got this. All right. Done. Plain and simple. Okay. So with that being said, it's important for us to understand when we set the subconscious mind up to succeed by giving it seeds, planting those seeds, watering those seeds, we can create a marriage that produces exactly prosperity, success, and money. But not only that, it produces a consciousness that produces that consciousness being thinking, feeling, actions that result from that thinking and feeling. It's pretty simple. You just have to implement it. Right? And if you implement it, I'm telling you, it's going to take you to a whole nother level of existence. I promise you that. I promise you. Right? And keep in mind, once again, the game show, instead of what's not there, where's my abundance? Right? Now, the reason I say take ownership over it, take possession over it. Where's my abundance? Promise you that will be the most fun game, and it'll just help your life in general. I mean, it will help so much. All right. So moving on, guys, if you have prayer that you want me to pray over something for you, I would be more than happy to do that. If you want to talk about some things, I'd be happy to do that. You know what? If you're feeling guilty that listening to me is taking you away from your traditional religion, talk to me. Don't feel guilty. Understand God is a God of love. God is a God that is within you, and God is a God that wants the best for everyone, right? So there's a part of him or a part of it in you that has led you to something such as this. And it could be the opportunity to break free. But still, if you want to talk about that, give me a shout. Anything else, give me a shout. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. All righty. Okay. And then once again, just like before in the beginning, thank you in advance for your kindness, your generosity. You find this message has benefited you. You find the prayer has benefited you. You like watching my face because I'm so handsome and stuff like that. Yes. By all means, if you would like to invest into the ministry, sow into the ministry, that goes a long way, just as much as your love and support and appreciation as well. Venmo, Heart of Christ Ministry, PayPal, ShaunG04@gmail.com, Apple Pay upon request. That is an amazing thing as well. And with that being said, guys, Sunday's message, 41 minutes. We are signing off. Have a wonderful day, and I'm sure I will see you soon. Bless you. The presence of God in me blesses the presence of God in you. I lift you up as I lift up this ministry, and I believe nothing but riches, nothing but abundance, nothing but pure divine awareness in being as happy as you possibly can and being as wonderful to each and every individual and every person that you can, and receiving that back in return, because that's what life is all about, an out picturing of who we are within our consciousness. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am signing off. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Bye-bye. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da.